Alright guys, so welcome back. In this video, as we discussed, we are going to develop the Tableau project, and we did some basic data analysis into the SQL environment. We extracted data from the Kaggle and imported that data as a table into the SQL environment, and we ran some basic queries to look into the data. Okay, as data is quite clear, we do have some null values, some missing values that can be figured out, but I will leave that things to you, like you can figure it out and do your own search. Okay, so before developing the Tableau dashboard, what we are going to do, that's very good thing. Very first thing is like understanding of the data. So we got a very good understanding of the data, like what are the things present in the data. Out of this, let me show you quickly into Tableau, not in Tableau but into the SQL, like what we have. So throughout this data, what we have to first identify the seasonal buying selling. So based out of this data, we have to see what is the buying pattern throughout the year. As we know, this is incomplete data, but we do have the entire data from Kaggle, so we will use the entire CSV file in the Tableau, so we will get entire data. The first ask is seasonal buying pattern, then second ask should be like customer segmentation. We have to divide the customer into three parts based on the frequency of their purchase, like casual customer, frequent buyer, occasional buyer. So like that we have to create a customer segmentation. Then we have to see the top selling products in the Tableau, like what are the products which are on the top selling model. Then we will have to look for the selling across the globe, like how the selling is happening across different countries like UK, France, Germany, and all and all and all. So that kind of basic insights that we are going to bring out. And in addition to this, you will see the total sales, total orders, total customer, total products, like basic KPI. So this will help you to lift off the Tableau calculation. Okay, so yeah, I'm not going to perform a highly complicated calculation, but yes, we are going to do some basic calculation, and from basic we will touch some intermediate and some advanced calculation. So let's get start with the Tableau. So let me open the Tableau and import the data into the Tableau environment. I already created the Tableau dashboard before making this video, but I will again start with the scratch only for you guys. So here is our Tableau desktop application. I'm going to go to text and then open our downloaded CSV file. Basically it is a comma separated file. I will hit on update now, as the data set is quite big, it is around 50 MB, so it will take some time. So yes, now we have the null values present in the invoice date and the customer ID. Okay, so to fix this quickly, we can follow certain measures, like we can set any particular date in invoice date, and we can add up the customer ID. So it is a little bit tricky, so I will quickly show you that. And I can also say, if you want to avoid this null, you can simply go to the filter, add, then you can say customer ID, hit on OK, and once you hit on OK, you will see the list, and you can simply tick on the nulls and exclude this particular nulls. So this way you are getting rid out of the customer ID like this. So yeah, again you will have to follow the business logic to deal with such kind of scenarios. So as we are developing the project, so we will do some manipulation on this data. So what we will simply create a calculated field for the invoice and the customer ID, and we will put the condition where the invoice date is null, then it should pass some date, maybe a today. I think today is a good. And if the customer ID is null, then it will pass 1234 as a customer ID. That way it will be very easy. But again, we will cross verify if we have a invoice number for any present customer ID. So we will quickly cross check that particular part. Okay, so we can do that into the SQL also, but we do have the limited data, so we may not get an entire list of null. So we will try to figure out how you can use Tableau to fix that kind of problem. So let's get start. First we will see the invoice number, and for that invoice number, if we have the customer ID is null. Okay, so what we can do, we will go to Tableau, we will see invoice number, it's here, we will hit on here. But before that, we will first convert that to discrete, and then we will put it over here. But yeah, this is also not helping, it is actually summing up, so we'll convert this to the dimension over here, then we will put here. So we got all the invoice numbers. Now we will bring the customer ID right here. So you see, let me show you back, we have null in invoice number also. Okay, and if you are putting customer ID, so what it will do, it will group the invoice number and it will populate all the customer falling under that particular invoice number. So if you see null, we have huge list of customer, but later on we can see each invoice has a single customer. Reason behind this, if you see logically, each customer will buy something and it will generate a invoice for that particular customer, correct? And that invoice number is a unique bill number for that particular customer. One customer can have multiple invoice number, but one invoice number cannot associate with multiple customer. That's a simple logic. So if you see here, when the invoice is null, we have huge list of customers, so we will have to exclude the invoice number when invoice is null and the customer is null. So what we can do is we can apply this filter on the data source level. Over here we will add a filter on the invoice number, hit on OK and use all. Now yeah, select from the list, we will simply exclude the null, we will hit on OK and OK, then we will update the data and see. Now if you bring the invoice and the customer ID over here, you will see for each invoice we have a separate customer, there is no rush. Now we have some nulls over here, right? Here, 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 here. Okay, so what we can do, we will create a calculated field for the customer. Okay, so let me show right away. We'll create a calculated field and we'll say customer id dot c and say if customer id is equal to null, then 1 2 3 4 else customer id int. Simple logic. Hope you got this logic. Like, let me see what's the expected string float return type if x must match. If customer id is null, so is null. Customer id, okay, we will. Okay, so if you see here properly, the customer id over here is into the, let me make it little bit clear. Okay, so if you see customer id data type, it is a number in dimension. This is a character data type, correct? So we will have to first convert this data type or properties, uh convert to major. No, we have to convert that to string. Okay, the customer id is now converted to the string like this, but I think there's some problem. Let me drag it again and see how it look like. If you see here, customer id is showing some decimal value, which is not good thing. Let's make some changes over here. Change data type to the whole number. Oh, it is converted all to 0, to decimal. Yeah, okay, let's keep this as it is and create the calculated field now. Customer id dot c. If it's null, customer id, then it will show 1 2 3 4 as a customer id. Else it will create string of customer id and it will 8. Okay, why we are doing this? Because we have a number data type and customer id is supposed to be in the string data type, because it's not a number. It is a number, but we should not perform any aggregation on this particular attribute. That's why it is in string, so it's supposed to be in the string format. So if I hit on apply, okay, and drag this field to the rows, what we are going to see, include all the member. And yeah, if you see this, we have null and it is been replaced by a customer id null 1 2 3 4. So our first problem is solved. So we can refer the customer id calculated field instead of the field we have got from the dataset. Now we will fix the second problem, which is the invoice date. And for the invoice date, we are going to follow the same technique. All right, so let's first bring the invoice date like this. We have null, huge null, and 2011 like this. All right, so what we can do, we can pass the today date, because we are only creating a project, right? Based on your business logic you can make relevant changes, but let's try with a today date. Okay, so create calculated field and invoice date dot c. If is null invoice date, then today is invoice date int. How this look like? It is same logic but with a different approach. Okay, so you can pass anything instead of today, but I'm just trying today because just to keep some randomness, like it's not randomness, but yeah, just to keep any particular date I just kept today, just for example. Okay, so I'll hit on apply, hit on OK, and then I will bring that very next to the field. So if I create or click on hierarchy, I can see the month as well. Okay, so yeah, I think we are pretty good on this, but if you can generate a random dates, that would looks much better. Alright, so we just navigated that problem, and moving further we can refer the calculated field for the invoice date. Okay, so second problem is solved now. So we can start with our data visualization, and I think this is a bit extended, so we just manipulated our data in the Tableau, and in the next video we will start preparing for the charts. So stay tuned, we'll see you in the next video.